and happy Thursday. It's another beautiful day. How gorgeous was today? I love summer so much. Everything is abloom and our lovely dragonflies are buzzing everywhere. And so today we are making a sun catcher that is inspired by the beautiful dragonflies. And so let me show you. This is one set of our sun catchers. So this is a kit that I'm calling Gossamer Wings. That's the colorway. It's a little bit more, it's a little more sparkly. It's a little bit more, oh, I don't know, just kind of ethereal, like fairy dust. And then I have another colorway, which is not actually terribly different from Gossamer Wings, but the colors are just a little bit stronger. And I called this colorway Gemstone. Oh, I'm sorry.
What? Jeweled Wings.
Thank you, Tony. I called it Jeweled Wings. So we have Jeweled Wings and Gossamer Wings.
Jolene says hello.
Hi, Jolene.
Fonda says good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. So excited for these adorable dragonflies.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much, Fonda. And happy Thursday to you, my friend. And I will just blurt. Today is a good day, ladies. We adopted a puppy today, so I'm so excited. So if you hear a little whining, he's behind the door, but still he's a puppy. So you might get to hear him a little bit, and then one of these days, I will introduce him on camera. You've met my other pup, Tiki, and this guy's name is Maui, so I'm sure you will meet him sometime soon.
Joanne says hello.
Hi, Joanne. Okay, my friends. So we're going to make a dragonfly suncatcher. And I will say these don't have to be in your window. They can be. They look super fun in the window. But I know I've said this multiple times. You know what I like to do with little fun baubles like this? I actually hang them from my light fixtures in the kitchen. And they are super fun. They add a little color and whimsy to your environment. And really, you just, wherever you have a little space where you need a little color, a little movement, a little something extra, just hang one of these. Okay, ladies, so I'm thinking let's get started. So I actually, well, you know what? I'm going to move these a little bit to give myself a little room to work. And I'm going to be making this little dragonfly today, the turquoise. And as I mentioned, whichever set you decide to get, whichever kit, you will be making 3 sun catchers per kit. So I'm going to start with the dragonfly, and once we make the dragonfly, we'll make that little extra chain, and we'll talk about how to make the dragonfly's wings stay exactly as they are and not flap around, because sometimes they do. And of course, in real life, we never see dragonflies flap their wings. So we're going to make sure that ours do not either. So I'm going to start building our dragonfly suncatcher with the tail of the dragonfly. So this little part right here. And, oh, you know what? I just realized what I forgot to grab. I forgot to grab my round nose pliers, but good thing I have it right here in my video room. And so all is fixed now.
Trudy says hi, everyone.
Hi, Trudy. And I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, ladies. So I'm going to start with the tail. And we have this little ball pin. I actually do a lot with these little ball pins. I love them. They work for everything. So I am stringing my 4mm Swarovski bicones, and I'm spacing them with the 11-0 metal seed beads. And I do use these metal seed beads for so many different applications. So I'm going to string 3 of the little crystals, and then it's up to you, whether you want a little extra seed bead at the bottom. You can have a little extra seed bead at the bottom or skip it. It's up to you. And then I also like to put 3 extra little seed beads at the top, and then we're going to make a loop. So I will point out the fact that this is not a very long head pin, so we're not able to make a very large loop. But if you've made wrapped loops before, it's just another wrapped loop. But this time we are keeping it a little bit on the smaller side. So that's why I grabbed my round nose rather than making the loop with my bail making pliers. So I'm making this loop almost at the end of the round nose pliers, and this way we're going to keep it pretty small.
Althea says hello, everyone.
Hi, Althea, and thanks for joining us this beautiful day. Okay, ladies, so here's my little loop. This is before we wrap the loop, and again, I'm keeping it pretty tiny, maybe 2.5, 3 millimeters. That's really all we need. And the reason I don't want a large loop is because, well, first of all, if I have too large of a loop, it will, can you guys see right here? It will actually slip over the seed bead, and we're trying to avoid that. And the other thing is we're trying to save a little bit of wire for the wrap. And really, you just need to wrap it once. Once is plenty, but as you can see, I actually have a little extra left. So if I want to keep going, I can. So technically, you do have enough for a double wrap, but even a single wrap will do. So I just snipped off my excess wire, and I am going to pinch a little end. And here we go. We have a little tail for our sweet dragonfly suncatcher. So we're going to set this little guy aside. And I have to tell you, when you open your kit, you will find quite a lot of wire. So I think it's something like 60 inches of wire. So just keep in mind, you're getting supplies for 3 different pieces. And so for me, a comfortable length to work with when we're talking about wire is about 10 inches or so. So if you want to work right off the whole spool, you can. But again, I find it a little bit easier if I work with 10, 12 inches at a time. So, and 20 inches per suncatcher is more than enough. Okay, my friends. So this is 22 gauge wire, by the way. And I'm going to make a 90-degree bend in my wire, and I did that with my chain nose pliers, and this is approximately 1.5 inches from the end of the wire. So normally I say 1 inch from the end, but this is going to be a little bit larger because the part of the dragonfly we're making right now is right here. We're about to make kind of a large-ish loop, and we want to make certain we have enough room for the little wings and the spacer beads. So I left just a little bit more wire. And now I'm going to use my bail making pliers to make the loop. Now, this is a little bit important. I'm going to be using the large side of my medium bail making pliers. So if you do own bail making pliers, that's wonderful. You can use the large side of the medium pliers, or if you don't have the medium, you can use the small side of the large bail making pliers. They're not identical in size. Ideally, you use the medium. But if you don't have either, then I suppose just use the largest point on your round nose pliers and do a little extra, and you may have to kind of finagle it a little bit, but it is doable. So since I do have my medium bail making pliers, I'm going to use that to make a loop. And those of you who are a little bit new to loops, I have several videos just on making loops. So that's why I'm not breaking this down into little teeny tiny steps, but you can see I am just making a nice round loop, and it's important that our loop ends up very much centered. And I can see that mine is just a little bit less than centered, so I will tweak it just a tiny bit. And also, as you can see, I ended up with the end of the wire fairly close to a 90-degree angle, and that is also a good thing. So now I'm going to start stringing my beads.
Lori says, good evening, Irina and Tony. Nice to see you, and sends flowers and smiles.
Hi! And thank you so much for the flowers and the smiles, Lori. It is so nice to hear from you, my friend.
Barb says, hi, Irina and Tony. Nice sun catchers, but I can't stay tonight. We'll have to watch tomorrow and catch up.
Hi, Barb. I'm so glad you joined us, even just for a little bit. But I have to tell you, we do not have a video tomorrow morning. And, you know, so I'll share this. We actually did not schedule a video for tomorrow morning. And I'll show you when I'm done stringing. I'll show you exactly what the order is. Very easy. So we went to Montana last week, and we had a wonderful time. But we knew that when we get back, we're really going to have to play catch up with, you know, just everything that we do around here. So for that reason, we decided not to. Wait a minute, what am I doing? You know, I guess maybe talking and stringing is not, it doesn't always work out at the same time. So instead of stringing it on the long end of the wire, we're going to string it on the short end of the wire. So let me just point out. So I started with an 8/0 seed bead. Then I have the upper wing, which is the more colorful wing. Then I have the bottom wing. Then I have another seed bead. Then don't forget to string the tail. And then we're just going to mirror image it on the other side. Okay, ladies, so because we went to Montana and we knew we would have to do so much catching up, we decided to skip the Friday video this week. So those of you who normally watch us on Friday, please know that there's no video tomorrow. And as it turned out, it actually worked out super, super well. As I mentioned, I know not everybody had joined by then, but we actually adopted a sweet little puppy this morning or this afternoon, we had to drive to Green Bay, which for those of you who are from out of town, it's in Wisconsin, but it's a couple of hours away from where we live. So, so as it turns out, what we're going to be catching up on tomorrow morning is training the puppy. But we will absolutely resume the Friday videos as of next Friday. So we will be going back to the regular schedule where we do the Friday videos almost every Friday. Okay, my friends, so this is the order of our beads. And as you probably can imagine, we're just going to treat this just as if here, let me show you. So just as if we're just making a regular wrapped loop. The only difference is going to be this. Normally, with a wrapped loop, we would grab right here, right, we would hold on to the loop with our chain nose pliers as we're wrapping. Well, we can't do that with the beads on. So instead of holding on with our chain nose pliers as we normally would, as you can see, I am simply holding on with my fingers. So I know it's a little bit awkward because we're just not used to doing that, but as you can see, it actually works really, really well. And I'm going to snip off my excess wire and tuck in the little wire tail.
Katie S. says, happy Thursday all. Dinner ran late.
Hi, Katie, and happy Thursday to you, my friend.
Althea says, wish you the best with the puppy.
Oh, thank you so much, Althea. We're so excited. He's so adorable. I'm sure we will introduce him to everyone one of these days.
Lori says, congratulations on your puppy. What is the breed?
Thank you so much. Well, I tell you, we got him from the Humane Society, so we don't know exactly. But we think that he's an Aussie Doodle, just like our other puppy, whose name is Tiki, and some of you have seen him online. I've introduced him in a couple of the videos. He's a bit of a distraction because he's just so cute. And the little one, his name is Maui, and he looks a lot like Tiki, except he's a different color. So he's some type of a doodle. We think he's an Aussie Doodle, but he could be a Labradoodle. Who knows? I guess we'll just, let him blossom and see what he turns out to be. Okay, my friends. So I have just wrapped my little loop right there. And so now I am going to use my last little bicone. We started out with 4 of the Swarovski bicones, and yes, I'm still using Swarovski bicones, and this happens to be my favorite color in Swarovski, which is the what is my favorite color, Tony? It's the opal, the Pacific opal. Thank you. It's funny because I know what I like and Tony just remembers what it's called. And so now I'm going to make another 90-degree angle, and this time it's going to be parallel to the initial loop. So we're making the 90-degree angle, and now I am going to switch to my small bail making pliers, because at this point I just want all of my loops to be the same, or at least very, very similar in size. Also, it's super helpful when you're working with bail making pliers. It makes all the loops so nice and round. I mean, just look at that loop.
Katie S. loves the new edition.
Oh, thank you so much.
And Jane says, sweet, you'll get to meet him tomorrow, Jane.
Yay! So, Jane, you didn't know that this was happening because we did not know that this was happening. This was such a lovely surprise. We have been stalking all these Bead Society, oh my gosh, I was going to say Bead Society pages because, I'm programmed to say that. You guys know what I meant. All these Humane Society websites. and I found this little pup, and oh my goodness, I just fell in love with his sweet little face. Okay, my friends, so we just made the dragonfly. And as you can see, his wings are still pretty flappy. So before we move on to the next part of it, we are going to make his wings a little more stationary. And we are, of course, we're going to use super new glue to do that. So this is what I want you to know. You're not getting super new glue in the kit, but I'm kind of hoping that most of you already have super new glue. And if you need it, just let us know. I mean, obviously, the kits are available on our, let's see, in our store, in our Shopify store, right? They're also available in our Etsy shop.
They are not available on Etsy. They're only available
Through Shopify?
through the Eclectica online shop.
Oh, okay, very good. So you heard it here through the Eclectica online shop. You know, so much has changed for us in the last couple of months. I'm still trying to catch up with what we're doing on which platform. Okay, so if you do not already have the super new glue, it costs $2.80. So just, you know, I don't think we have it listed, but you can always put it in the notes and we will take care of that. So, and if you already have it, obviously it lasts a very long time. But as I was making these little dragonflies, you know what I discovered? I discovered that I love using a piece of wire as an applicator for these. So that's exactly what we're about to do. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just putting a little drop of super new glue on the wire. And yes, you will have a little piece of wire, a little piece of copper wire. It doesn't have to be copper, honestly, but we made it copper just so that we can really differentiate it from the other wire. So when you see this little piece of odd wire and you're not quite sure where it goes, it doesn't really go anywhere in your project, but it is a very nice thing to have because you see how it makes everything just so very, very easy. And so as you can see, I'm not really putting a lot of glue on here at once. I am applying a very teeny tiny amount of glue, and the wire just makes it so easy to do. So it's not enough for the glue to even drip down to the piece of paper. You can see, you know, I can easily slide it, and maybe just one more. This is probably a bit of an overkill, but you know, I really don't want these little wings to move. So especially, I think it's important to apply a little more in between the wings, and then they're really going to be stationary.
Fonda is wondering, will we get to meet him on Saturday in the class?
Oh, Fonda! Yay! I will make sure that you get to meet him, but he can't stay. He's so cute. My God, he's such a distraction. But I will make certain that you meet our new baby. Okay, ladies. So we are just going to take this little dragonfly and we're going to set him aside as we are making the chain. So all these little seed beads we don't need anymore. I'm just going to set them aside and we're going to make the chain, which is so very, very simple. Literally, this is just going to be a little review of wrap loops. So let's make some wrap loops. So I'm going to start with this loop right here at the top. And as you can see, it's a little bit larger because, well, we're going to hang it on something. And I don't know how big your hanger is or your hook or whatever you're using. So you can always make it even larger, or you can make it smaller. I'm making it larger. So again, I'm starting out with approximately 1.5 inches from the end. And I'm using the large side of my bail making pliers because that is the size that I like for this loop. So again, I can't say enough about how much I love my wubbers, and they just, make all the loops so nice and consistent. And so I am just making a little wrap loop. You can wrap once or twice, whatever makes you happy. And we're literally just going to make a little chain, a little jeweled chain with some very colorful glass beads. And so once I get past that first loop, which is a little bit oversized, I'm just going to switch to my small bail making pliers, which is my go-to for so many different projects. And I love them because they give me consistently not just sized but also consistently shaped loops, and that is huge. I barely even pay attention anymore as I make them, because as long as you use the same side of your bail making pliers every time, you're always going to get the same size loop. So past that first one, now I'm just leaving myself about an inch. And so now we are just going to make sure that every time we make that first loop, and when I say first loop, I'm referring to the first loop of the link. Each link is obviously 2 loops. And so every time I make that first loop, I'm going to connect it to the previous loop. So, it sounds easy, but you know what? Sometimes it's very difficult to remember that part. So as I said, this is just a little review of wrapped loops. And as a part of my review of wrapped loops, I'm also reminding you that if you want your loops to consistently be on the same plane, we're always going to, you see how mine are on the same plane? So when you make that 90-degree angle, in order to make the second loop, we're just going to make it a point to make it parallel to the first loop. And if you forgot to do that, you can always tweak the direction of your loops. You can always redirect your loops just by holding them with a chain nose and a flat nose pliers. So we have 3 of those teal 8mm beads. And so this is going to be my third and last one. So always connect those guys before you start wrapping. And we always want to tuck in that little and before we put our bead on. It's always easiest to tuck it in before we put our bead on. And then another quick little reminder, when you leave a little space between the bead right there and your pliers, you guys can see the space. I know that sometimes when people first start making wrap loops, for some reason the hardest thing about this is estimating the space. So when I estimate the space, I just know that all I need, I'm going to tweak this a little. So all I need to do is just leave enough space for just 2 little wraps. And that's it. So that's a very tiny space. And sometimes you just, I can't even get in there with my fingers. That's why I was giving it a little squeeze with my chain nose pliers. So it's a little teeny space. It's literally 2 millimeters, and that is it. So if you just remember that, you are going to be awesome at making wrapped loops. But then of course you guys are all pretty much expert at this by this point, right? Okay, ladies, so I just cut myself a little more wire just for this. Well, this is too much wire, but that's okay. That's how much I cut. So I am going to make my next loop, and this time we are making our last link. And the last link is going to not only have a different bead on it, it's going to be one of those pressed glass sunflowers. I'm very fond of these, by the way. I think they are incredibly cool. So, so no more faceted beads. This time we're putting the sunflower on. And this is also going to be our connector between the chain and our dragonfly. So one thing I'm going to point out, the sunflower has on one side we have a concavity right here. So this is the concavity, and on this side the petal kind of sticks out. So this is convex. Okay, so on one side we have concave in between the petals, on this side it's convex. So you want to put the concave side, just like whenever we have a little hard bead or whatever that has a little concavity. So we always want to put that side next to our already wrapped loop. Because otherwise, if you're wrapping into the concavity, it's very awkward. It's just one of those very, very tiny little things, but it kind of makes a difference because you can get that much closer. Okay, ladies, so now we're going to make our next loop, and this is the loop connecting our chain to the dragonfly. So here is our dragonfly. He's still resting on the little piece of paper, and now we're going to pick him up, and we are still just a little bit tacky, but that's okay. And so generally the glue, super new glue, it dries so quickly. Okay, so now we are going to hold on to the loop and wrap it, and that's it, we're done.
Lori says, what gauge of wire are you using, please?
Oh, thank you for asking, Lori. This is 22 gauge wire, and it has to be half hard. So yeah, whenever you are making wrapped loops, I don't like using that soft. So for me, it's always half hard, and it is 22 gauge wire. And the little ball pin was a thinner wire, maybe like 24 gauge, I want to say. Okay, and oh, you know what? I just realized something. Oh, no, I thought I confused myself and maybe I mixed up the samples, but no, this is actually identical to the sample I previously had. So remember, there are 2 sets, and I happened to grab this one, which is actually from a different kit. Okay, my friends, so what do you think?
Fonda says, I just bought one of the kits. It will make a great addition to the kit I already made last year.
Oh, yay! Thank you so much, Fonda. Yeah, I did make a very similar kit last year, and they went so quickly. And I kind of moved on at the time to something else, but this summer I was like, you know what, we really need to bring back our dragonflies. So we did. Okay, my friends, so again, we have the jeweled wings is one of the sets, and the other one is gossamer wings. So the gossamer wings are going to be just a little bit more like lighter and sparklier, and the jeweled wings are going to be a little bit more saturated colors. And they're all really fun. They're all my babies, so of course I love them all. So I think this is very, very straightforward. I can't imagine that you have questions, but if you do, this is a great time to ask. And I hope you guys picked your favorites and enjoy making these dragonflies. They're very, very satisfying to make. In the meantime, I will give you a little bit of a preview of everything that is coming up. So, oh yeah.
Trudy says super.
Oh, thank you so much, Trudy.
Althea says, I love these. They're fun to make.
Thank you so much, Althea. I agree, they are super fun to make.
And it looks like some people had some difficulty getting into the event. You can rewatch it from the beginning.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I know sometimes it's not easy for us to get into the event. So, and we're the ones hosting it, right? How sad is that? So I'm sorry you guys weren't able to get in right away, but yes, please do rewatch any part of it. This is a super easy, super straightforward project. I mean, like literally anybody can do this, and hopefully, with the step by step. And I think probably the hardest part of this is just the glue, right? Because not everybody thinks about gluing the wings. Well, I think I did it last year and I liked the results. And just for fun, you see how this guy I glued in place slightly differently just to show you that you can. Like if you want the wings spaced out a little bit wider, you can do that. So just space it however it makes you happy. And, glue it in place. As I mentioned, I gave you a little piece of wire in every kit. So do use that little piece of wire. I find it incredibly helpful. Okay, my friends, so I will tell you what's coming up in the next week or so. So as I mentioned, tomorrow we do not have a video because we were on vacation last week and we thought we need to catch up with everything that's going on. For example, our class schedule is coming out this Saturday, so there's a lot to do with the class schedule. So we did give ourselves a little break. So no video tomorrow. And as it worked out, we ended up getting a puppy today. So I'm so glad that it worked out this way. So our next video is going to be this coming Monday, August 4th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Eclectica Facebook page. And of course, some of you have been joining us for some really, really fun stitching kits by all these lovely, talented artists. And of course, the really good deals on the stitching kits are also very, very fun. And so that has been a really wonderful series of events. I've heard from so many of you who've been enjoying these events. So we're doing another stitching video this coming Monday, which is August 4th. And then the following Friday, August 8th, we will be doing a shopping event at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, again on the Eclectica Facebook page. And we will be featuring some beautiful gemstone strands and assortments of strands and some clasps, some really fun clasps. And I'm sure there will be more. And if you have any requests for the video of Friday, August 8th, we have not fully finalized the selection yet. So if you have any requests, please do not be shy. Oh, where is my sample? It's on my desk. Okay, so Tony is volunteering to go get it from my desk. In the meantime, I will tell you okay, and
Yeah,
Tony.
one question. Joanna's wondering, do you stock the sunflower bead? If so, what are the other colors?
We do stock the sunflower bead. I can tell you that unfortunately we are out of this metallic bead. But we do have Crystal AB. We have, I'm not quite sure, this is like I don't know, I guess most similar to Bermuda blue perhaps. We have that color. And then we have like not quite a jonquil yellow, but more like maybe like crystal champagne yellow, if you're familiar with the champagne finish in Swarovski. So we have that kind of soft, buttery yellow. It doesn't come in a lot of colors. So those are the colors we have. If you're interested, you can always get in touch with mail order and we'll let you know what the prices are, because I don't know offhand what the prices are. So Tony did get my project for my next Thursday video. And when I say next Thursday video, I don't mean next Thursday. So my next Thursday video is going to be on August 21st. As I mentioned, I'm kind of maybe temporarily, we're kind of playing it by ear, but I am at this time not doing the Thursday videos every Thursday. So my next how-to video, project video, is going to be Thursday, August 21st. And I'm going to be making my transformation necklace. So would you like to see why I have called this transformation necklace? I will show you. So this is what we'll be doing. We will be braiding a necklace with waxed linen. We've done one project so far with waxed linen and it was a huge success. Everybody loved it. I loved it. So we're going to be making more. And so these two pieces are made separately so that we can transform our necklace whenever we want. So we could wear it with or without the focal point stone. Maybe you have a different necklace with a different focal point, so then you don't need a focal point. But occasionally you might need a focal point on this necklace, or perhaps you can make a different focal point, so that you can play with your jewelry like I do every morning. Literally every morning I remix my jewelry because all of it is like Legos and I can transform it in so many different ways. So that's kind of something that I really enjoy when creating jewelry. So anyway, this is our project for Thursday, August 21st.
Kathy Case is excited about your new project.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
And she adds, what kind of puppy did you get?
Oh, thanks for asking. So he looks a lot like Tiki. Some of you guys met Tiki. Some of you have seen Tiki in the videos. So Tiki is an Aussie doodle. And our new little guy, he looks a lot like Tiki, but we brought him back and the ladies were still here. Some of you know Sandy and Bonnie, and they were still here just before they took off. So they got to meet Maui. And Bonnie thinks that he's a poodle. We think he's some type of a doodle, but because we adopted him from the Humane Society and not from a breeder, we will not know what he is unless we do a DNA test. And we may at some point do it, but you know what? Whatever he is just so cute and lovable and just absolutely adorable. So we will just have to see what kind of a dog he grows into. It will be a surprise. I just hope he's not enormous.
Trudy says that's really cute, your necklace.
Oh, thank you so much, Trudy.
And Katie adds, beautiful necklace, beachy.
Thank you. Yes. Well, I'm a very beachy kind of girl. I love beachy colors. I love the ocean and various water activities. So I think that half of my creations probably are inspired by that. While we were on our little vacation in Montana, visiting our sweet friends, we went floating down the river. It was like a 3-hour float. It was one of the best things ever. So anyway, beachy is always good and always happy in my world. So, and I hope you guys enjoy that as well. But I think I'm probably going to have one other colorway because I know it's not an everybody colorway. So I don't know yet what it's going to be. It will be a surprise because we all enjoy surprises. Okay, my friends. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for being happy with me about our new sweet pup. And again, one of these days, you guys get to meet him. We just need to train him to sit and, be in one spot for more than 2 seconds. So anyway, thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. Thank you for your well wishes and your wonderful comments. And I will see you this coming Monday, and that is August 4th. And we'll be looking at some really fun kits. In the meantime, have a wonderful and creative evening.